Welcome to the virtual training for Prezi. This presentation will give you an overview of the basic features of Prezi. So, what is a Prezi? A Prezi is a Web 2.0 tool that you can use to create what are called zooming presentations. A big part of Prezi is they're saved online on the cloud. So in order to use this service, you have to set up an account on Prezi.com. And then you don't save your Prezis locally. You're not going to save a file to your computer. You're simply going to save them on Prezi's servers and access them from the Prezi website. So let's zoom in. Prezis are popular because they are more modern and cinematic than your traditional PowerPoint or Keynote software. And because of that, people say that Prezis can capture your audience's attention more than traditional slide-based presentation tools. So what is special about Prezi? Prezi's fun. It lets you explore relationships in a visual way. The most common use is lectures. Some instructors like to import their PowerPoint presentations into Prezi. Students can use Prezi to collaborate on group projects. Prezi has a great collaboration tool where anyone who has a Prezi account can synchronously edit one Prezi. So if students want to work on a group project, they can all contribute to the same Prezi without being together in the same room. And I'll show you how to do that later. Another use for Prezi is concept maps. And what's really extraordinary about Prezi is you have unlimited canvas space. So if I click escape, I go back to edit mode, and you can see I'm zooming out and I have unlimited space. I can zoom out into the background or zoom in as far as I want. So you're really not restricted spatially, whereas in PowerPoint you have to fit all of your content into one slide. And finally, you can do digital storytelling and storyboarding within Prezi. So many people ask themselves, should I use Prezi? Is Prezi for me? Before you switch over to Prezi completely, I always stress this one point. Prezis take more time to create than a PowerPoint. That's because the Prezi interface can be cumbersome to use. It has a high learning curve to it. With that being said, you can Prezify, which means you can import your PowerPoints into Prezi, and that's a great time saver. A few best practices when it comes to using Prezi. Number one is don't use excessive panning. That means you want your transitions to be smooth. So you can see if I click back, I'm only moving a little bit. I'm not jumping. I'm going to click escape. I'm not jumping from one side of the screen to another. I certainly could, but you can see I have a nice smooth path. Okay? You also don't want to do a lot of turning upside down. If you do that, your audience can feel seasick. It can just disorient them by so much movement. The last thing you want to do is increase the font size of your section headings and make the details smaller. So these are your details, and this is a section heading. If I zoom out a bit, this is called the big view, where you can see all the content of your entire presentation. Now you can see that all of the section headings are really easy to see at a glance. So this video shows you how to Prezify a PowerPoint. So I've embedded this video, so if we click on it, we can watch it. And you see how it zooms in. Now I'm actually not going to show this in this video due to copyright. However, if you come to the Workshop Video Archive webpage, the web address is right here, and simply scroll down, and you're going to see referenced links. So you can view this video by clicking right here, Prezi Tutorials, how to Prezify your PowerPoint slides. Just click on that and it'll open up in YouTube and you can watch this video here. This video is really fantastic. It shows how you can use Prezi in ways which you simply cannot do in PowerPoint, mainly using visual analogy and metaphors. Okay, so now we've done a nice overview, so let's go ahead and get started on the hands-on portion. Welcome to the hands-on portion of the Prezi virtual training. First thing you want to do is open up a web browser. Any modern browser is fine, meaning just make sure your browser is up to date. You can use Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer. I am going to use Firefox. So, you open up your browser and you want to go to the Prezi website. So the URL is www.prezi.com. Okay, so that'll take a second to load. First thing you need to do is sign up for an account. So you can see that blue button right here in the corner. Click on that. And you may want to sign up for the educator license, and here's why. So you can sign up for free for a public Prezi license, but if you notice right here, it says all your Prezis, meaning all your presentations you build in Prezi, they're going to be public, so they'll be indexed by Google, and people could come to the Prezi website, search out your presentation. So you may not want that. You may have a presentation that you want private. If you want a private Prezi, that's a tongue twister for you. If you want a private Prezi, you're going to have to upgrade your license. And you can actually do that for free because you're a faculty or staff member at Wilmington University. So here's how you do that. You can see right here where it says student and teacher licenses. You just click on that. And now you can upgrade to the Enjoy EDU license. So you can see that will enable you to have privacy features for your Prezis. You also get two other benefits. You can remove the Prezi logo and use your own logo, and you can you have more file storage space. I have, I think, 40 Prezis in my free account of Prezi, and I still haven't gotten anywhere close to that maximum storage space limit. So the main reason people upgrade is they want the privacy. Okay, so I already have an account, so I'm going to log in. Keep in mind, if you choose to just use the free license, which is fine, the public license, you won't have to verify your email. However, if you come into student and teacher licenses, you're going to have to use your Wilmington University email address. It's only going to let you upgrade to this Enjoy EDU license if you have an email that ends in edu. And also, you're going to have to verify that. So once you sign up right here, click Try Now, it's going to have you type in information about what school you work at, and then it will send a verification link to your Wilmington University email address, which you'll have to click and verify. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Here's another option. If you're on Facebook, you can authenticate in. They have a nice, it's called an API, meaning I don't have to remember another set of logins. I can just log in with my Facebook credentials. Okay, so here I am. It says I have 0 Prezis. That's not right. I'll click Your Prezis, and there it is. Okay, I have 49 Prezis. You can see I've used this for some presentations, and I've taught this class once or twice. Go ahead, and this should be your first time in Prezi, and you should see this button, New Prezi. Go ahead and click that, and you notice a new tab opened up. Sometimes this will load slow. Sometimes you'll see a blank screen for 5 seconds or so. Don't close the window, don't worry. Prezi just takes a while to load the editor sometimes, okay? So you have these different templates you can choose from. I definitely recommend using a template if you're going to build your Prezi completely in Prezi. If you're simply importing a PowerPoint, use this blank template. But I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one, the journey. So I selected that, and then I click Choose. So you can see I'm now in edit mode, okay? So there's a lot going on this screen, so I'll kind of go through the various features one by one, okay? So when you move your cursor around, you'll notice over here towards the right you have three icons. If you hover over them, it gives you an explanation of what it means. The magnifying glass is pretty straightforward. You can click the one with the plus to zoom in, click the magnifying glass with the minus to zoom out, and then the house, if you click on the house icon, you can see it zooms back in to show you everything on the canvas. Okay, so you'll hear me say canvas. What the canvas is, I'm going to zoom out. The canvas are these grid lines right here. Okay, and that's basically space you have available to build content for your presentation. You can see I can zoom out and there's a ton of space. I chose this template which kind of builds in a nice, this is called the big view. You can see everything at a glance, and it's nice because you can see the gist of the presentation. So let's go ahead and let's give this presentation a title. So this is your first Prezi. So you can see right there where it says click to add text. You can go ahead and click in there once. Type my first Prezi. This is a subheading right underneath. So when I click in there, I can give it a subheading. I'm going to say all about Adam Voitin. Okay. So then I can click off of there. So you have this control panel at the top of your screen. This is where you're going to go to add content to your Prezi. So if I click on template, I have the option to change the template. So you can see it says you can rearrange your Prezi into a different template. I don't recommend that you change the template once you start adding content. The reason for that is it tends to jumble up the order of the content. However, you have these different themes. Themes are, as you can see, easy ways to change the background color, the font color, and the font type. Okay, and you can change this anytime you want. If you really want to customize your Prezi, I like that one. That one's kind of nice. If you really want to customize this theme, you can see where it says customize current theme. Now you can go in and you can get really detailed. You can pick the background color. You have this wizard. You can choose the hex code on all these. So you have a lot of flexibility if you choose to go that route. But I'm okay with the default. So I click done. Now my Prezi has this new theme. I've given it a name. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding some content. Okay, so over here we have the navigation. You can see this specific template that I chose has 6 frames by default. Okay, so the first frame kind of holds all the other frames together. So if I click the number 2, it's going to zoom in, and now I can add content to my first frame. A frame is kind of a different name for a slide. In PowerPoint, you're going to have different slides. Prezi calls them frames, but it's basically the same concept. Okay, so this is all about me. So I'm going to add some different types of content. So this one will be my dream car. Okay, so if you recall, one of the best practices in Prezi is to make your section headings large. That way when you're looking at your Prezi from the big view, they're easy to see, and it's nice because it gives the audience an at-a-glance overview of your presentation. Basically, it's easy for your audience to get the gist of the presentation. So you can see if I click number 1, it takes me back to my first frame, it zooms out. It's still kind of small right there, so maybe I'll make that heading a bit bigger. There you go. So I'm making that take up a lot of the room within this circle, which is a frame. Okay, so I'm going to add an image of my dream car. So to do that, come up here to the control panel and click Insert. You get these different options. I'm going to go ahead and use that first option, image. So I have two ways to do it. I can either search from Google, and that's what I'm going to do, or you can upload a file that's stored locally on your computer or any flash drive you have plugged in. But I'm going to go ahead and search for my dream car. So red Mustang. Click. So I type in the keyword right there, and then just click search. So you can see over here I have the first image that came up in Google, but over here to the right I have additional options. So if I click on their thumbnails, it zooms in. So you do have to select one of these, and once you find the one you want to use, click Insert. So then you can see it says processing right there. So it's actually downloading the image from Google and actually inserting the physical file into your Prezi. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition this image so that it fits into my circle frame. So to do that, I can just click on that, and you'll see various options whenever you click on any object. So an object could be the heading, an object could be this frame right here, and this image is an object. So this hand right here in the center, if I click and hold the click button down, now I can drag the object around and I can reposition it. So I'm going to put it right here within the frame. The minus, if I click on that, it makes the object smaller. But if I click the plus, it makes the object bigger. Images are a bit special. You have the crop option. So if I wanted to, I could crop it down so that the image is smaller. Then finally you have delete. Uh-oh, why did I delete it? I want that image there, right? So maybe you accidentally delete something. So what you can do is, just like in Microsoft Word, you have an undo button, and that's up here in the top left. So if you click that undo button, you'll undo the last action, and that goes back quite a few steps. You can see I can go click undo a bunch of times, and it starts to undo all the actions. And you also have the redo button right next to it. If I click that, it starts to redo all of my actions. Okay. And finally, since we're here, you'll notice it says saved at 13:31. So that's saying, you can see the time, it's 1:32. That's saying it automatically has saved my file. So Prezi's great because it's going to constantly be saving your Prezi to their server. Every once in a while, it might take 2 or 3 minutes for it to save, depending on how busy Prezi servers are. But in general, this is always going to be up to date, so you don't have to worry about saving. If you click exit, it will actually say save and close this Prezi. Okay. All right. So we have the image inserted. I'm going to click on that, make it pretty big. Another way you can resize, if you kind of put your cursor right here in the corner, right there, you can see if you click and kind of drag inward, you can reduce the size or increase the size. And then also right here, whenever you're hovering over the corner of an object, you'll see another circle. So if you click and hold the circle, you can rotate objects. Okay, you see that? So, and again, you can do that for any object. If I wanted to rotate my section heading a little bit, give it a little bit of flair, you could. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward. Now we're going to add a video. So I'm going to come over here to the third frame, and I'm going to add a section heading. So this will be video. You have this big A that increases the size of the text. The little a decreases the size of the text. I'm going to, actually I'll call this YouTube video, be a bit more descriptive. So I changed the size of the section heading. If I wanted to, I could also change the color. You can see that. If you highlight everything, you can change the color of all the text. Otherwise, if I just click on one word, I'm only going to change the color of that one word. Okay, so I'm going to change that to blue. Alright, and now I'm going to add a YouTube video. Now, when we inserted the image, we could just do that directly in Prezi. To do a YouTube video, you actually have to go to YouTube and manually get the link and then bring it back into your Prezi. So I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to go to youtube.com and I'm going to search for one of the best videos on the internet. It's Surprised Kitty. Okay, look at that. 68 million views. Okay. I know, that's just so adorable, isn't it? Alright, so I'm going to pause that so that's not playing. So to get the link to the video, you have to first find the video that you want to embed, and then if you scroll down beneath the video, you have this share button. So you click on that, and now underneath I have this link which is highlighted. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go back to my Prezi, and I'm going to go to Insert, and you can see it has a YouTube video option. Click on that, and now it prompts you to paste in the link. So I just paste that in, click Insert, and just like the image, I'm going to kind of drag it down into my frame. I'm going to increase the size of it so it takes up a lot of the room of the frame. And I want to be careful to fit all of my content into the frame. And that's because when we go into presentation mode, actually let's do that now. I'm going to click this present button, and now I can preview my presentation. So you can see it goes full screen. It prompts you to allow your computer to access Prezi via full screen. I'm going to click Allow. So if I come to the bottom right here, I can hit the right arrow to progress through the slides. And also on your keyboard, you can just press the left and right arrows. But I'm going to go through my presentation and take a look at it. So you can see here's my first frame. We have my dream car, and then the YouTube video. And now you can really see why I said keep your content within the frame, because anything outside it is not going to show up when you get to that frame. And YouTube videos are neat because right here you can see this thumbnail, but if I click on the video, it goes full screen. So I'm going to pause that, and then when I hit the right arrow, it goes back to showing the whole frame. If I hit the right arrow again, I can go to the next frame. I haven't done anything in it yet. And then to get out of this presentation mode, you can see up here you have the X button, or you can just press Escape on your keyboard, just like PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this second frame, and I want to point something out. You see right here where it says click to add text? I call that the ghost text, and that's because when you're in presentation mode, it disappears. So you can see that the ghost text isn't there. However, it will appear in the edit mode, and that's a feature that is also in PowerPoint. It's really just there to prompt you to put text there, okay? It is a bit hard to remove completely. You can see I can't really delete it, okay? But don't be concerned, it's not going to show up in presentation mode. So let's move on and add another type of content. So over here on our navigation menu, click number 4. So you can see it's going to go to that frame within your Prezi, And I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to insert a symbol. So you can see Prezi has some built-in clip art you can choose from. I am going to do a red skull. So I click on that, click choose, and you can see it kind of inserts that into this Prezi frame. So I can increase the size of that. If I go to insert shapes and symbols again, I can add another. So you have a bunch of options. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward way of adding content. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back to the big view of our Prezi. So to do that, we click number 1 over here on the navigation menu. So now we can see this Prezi. I haven't really filled in any content for the 5th or 6th frame, but most presentations are going to have more than 5 or 6 frames. So how do we add additional frames? To do that, you come up here to the control panel and click frames and arrows and just click add frame. So you can see it added a really large frame over here, and it's not really part of my original set of frames. So I'm going to click on this new frame, click on it one time, and I'm going to shrink it down. Okay, so come over here to the corner, click and hold the click button down, and then drag that in, make that pretty small. And now I'm going to click the hand and drag it over here so that it's in this main frame. Okay, so now if I click number 7, you can see it zooms in and I can add content there. So now it is automatically part of the path. So it added this, it's the number 7 slide. If I wanted to add the visual indicator, so you can see this is the 2nd frame, this is the 3rd, this is the 4th, this is the 5th, this is the 6th, and they're connected by these footprints. If I wanted to add that footprint, I'd have to copy that footprint. So if I click on that footprint and then right click and add to my collection. So if I go to insert and if I go to from my collection, you can see that footprint is there. So go to insert, and now I'm going to shrink it down a bit, and I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to put it right here. Actually, I'll shrink it a bit more. I'm going to insert a 2nd one. So, and then I'm going to move that over. And shrink that down. So we're just showing, using visual indicators, the path of our presentation. So some templates won't have something special like these footprints. Some templates you'll just want to put in arrows to show the path. So I'll show you how to put in an arrow. It's under frames and arrows, and if you click draw arrow, and what you have to do is now if you just click somewhere on the canvas and then drag that arrow, you can extend the length of it. And then when you let go of the click button, you have these different options. You have the option to choose where the arrow points to. So I'll have it point to there. And then you can also choose where the arrow starts at. So I'll have it start right here. And then if you click in that center square and click, and you can add some bend to your arrow. Okay, so you have those adjustments. You can also choose different colors for the arrow. So if you click Style, it's going to kind of limit your choices based on which theme you chose. So for instance, if I change my theme to, let's try orange. Now when I click on the arrow, I have different options. I'm going to change it back to sketchy theme. Okay, and then finally, if you click on the arrow, you can adjust the thickness of the arrow. So if I click that smaller one, it gets thinner. If I click the thicker one, it gets thicker. Okay. If you go to frames and arrows right up here, you also have other options. You can draw lines. X marks the spot. Or you could highlight something. So highlight's kind of neat. If you click highlighter, now you can click and hold down and you can highlight regions of your Prezi. Okay. So if I go to insert, and they have a special type of frame called a diagram. So I'm gonna choose diagram. And you can see you have these different options you can choose from. Some of them are organizational charts, some of them are flow charts. We have some Venn diagrams, but I'm going to choose this one, cycle 2. So I selected it, I click choose, and if you notice over here on the navigation menu, it actually added 4 frames. So number 8, if I click on number 8, it zoomed in. Number 9, it's the first circle on that diagram. Okay, so I'm going to click 8. That's in a weird position. It's over my X. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to shrink it down significantly. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that X. Okay. So you can see this is the zooming aspect of Prezi. So for instance, if I added some content to here, so example diagram. So we'll have frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back into presentation mode and see what my Prezi looks like. So I'm going to start from the beginning. To do that, you can click that home button. So now if I come down here, I have this slider. It's kind of like the video timeline on YouTube videos. So I'm going to slide that back to the beginning. So now I'm at the beginning of my presentation. I can click my right arrows to go through the slides. And so here we are. We're at our diagram. So watch what happens here. If I click the right arrow, you can see it zooms in. Okay, so I'm going to click this button. That'll get me out of full screen mode. And then I'll click that X to go back into edit mode. So you may be asking yourself, well, what if I want to rearrange my frames? So maybe I want to have the YouTube video come before the dream car slide. Very easy to do. All you do is you come over here to the navigation menu and you click and you hold the click button down, and then you just drag it to where you want it to go. Okay. However, when you do that, you're only updating the path. Okay, you'll notice on the Prezi itself, it's still located wherever it originally was located. So watch this. If I go to present, start over. So before, it starts right here on the overview. It went to My Dream Car, and then it went to YouTube video. Now, because I changed the order, it's going to go to YouTube video first, and then to Dream Car. So it doesn't really match my my design of my presentation, because the presentation implies it starts over here and then you follow the footprints. So I might want to change where these are located if I change them on the path. So I can click here, drag that up, drag that down. So now it's going to make sense as far as the visual flow of the Prezi. Okay. So at this point, I'm almost done with my Prezi, so I'm going to click exit. So you can see it's saving and closing the Prezi. And now we have the Prezi viewer load on this screen. And this is exactly what you're going to send to people if you want them to see your Prezi. You're going to send them to this page. They won't need a Prezi account to view your Prezi. They'll just need to know to come right here and click the right arrow to progress through the presentation. As far as what link do you send people, just like in YouTube, you want to scroll down underneath the viewer, and it says share, just like on YouTube. Share. So click share, and here you are. You have various links you can send to people. The default one is just the view link, so you can see it says share this link to let others view your Prezi on their own, and it's view only. So you could copy that and you could email it to someone. You could post it as a URL content item in Blackboard, and here, I'll prove it. If I log out, I copied that link. So I'm not logged into Prezi, but I click the link someone gives me, and it pops up. Okay. You have other options. You have sometimes when you log into Prezi, as you just seen, it says you have 0 Prezis. If you click your Prezis, you're gonna refresh it, and all your current Prezis will come up. You can kind of see all of them, and then choose which one you want to use. Click the Prezi, and if I click share and then click that editing tab, so this is a special one. This link, if I send it to someone, they'll have the ability to edit this Prezi. So this is great for student projects. They can collaborate on a Prezi, and they don't have to be in the same room, but they can all edit the same presentation. It kind of saves them from emailing files back and forth, similar to Google Docs. And you do have this embed option if you're familiar with embedding. The current version of Blackboard we're using, it's Blackboard 9.1, doesn't support iframe embed code, so you won't be able to embed a Prezi into Blackboard at this point. Blackboard may soon support iframe embed code. Okay. So I'm going to scroll up, and you have a few options as far as privacy and control of your Prezi. By default, your Prezis are public and reusable. So public meaning someone could search for whatever keywords I used in the title of my Prezi. So yeah, if they search untitled, maybe my Prezi will come up. And then they'd be able to view it. If I click on that, you can see I have these different options: public and reusable, public, private. You can see private. For me, it is unavailable, and that's because I'm using the free account. If you want to enable the private option, you have to upgrade your Prezi account to the Enjoy EDU license. But let me show you what this reusable is. It's a weird feature of Prezi, in my opinion. So I'm going to click Learn up here at the top, okay? And I need to, no, I'm going to click Explore, I'm sorry. And I need to find a Prezi that is public and reusable. So you can see under the Explore tab, they have all these kind of really neat examples of Prezis. And they kind of categorize them. So this particular Prezi, this is just public. I can tell that because I'm viewing it right now. But there's also not a button here that says Make a Copy. I need to find one that has that Make a Copy. Here we go. So this one, it's public. Again, I know that because I'm viewing it and someone did not send me the direct link to it. But I also know this one is public and reusable because there's this Make a Copy button. So watch what happens when I click Make a Copy. It kind of takes a second to load. But I actually just downloaded a copy of their Prezi into my gallery. So you can see I have full access now to go in and edit that Prezi. So you might want to do that if you find a Prezi and you really like some of the design elements. But you also want to be aware that if you keep your Prezi on the default license, which is public and reusable, people viewing your presentation will be able to make a copy of it. So you may want to go ahead and change that to public or private if you upgraded your account. So I'm going to highlight one more feature. It's importing a PowerPoint. So first thing I'll do, I'll click Your Prezis. I can see all the Prezis I've made. I'm going to make a new Prezi. So the editor will start to load. Am I confusing you with all my tabs yet? I'll close a few of them. Okay, so I'm going to use the blank template. Click Choose, and we're going to go to Insert. Click PowerPoint. So I'm sure I have a PowerPoint on my desktop. And let's choose this one. So I chose a PowerPoint file. I clicked Open. Now you can see over here towards the right, it's actually importing all of the slides. Okay. So they came in over here. I want to go ahead and click Insert All. So this is my one chance to choose the layout of the path. So I like, oh, I think I have a meeting to get to. I like the simple layouts. So we have light bulb, that's the default actually. You could change it and you can see how that affects the Prezi. This is a very straightforward one, just the grid layout. So I'm going to do the grid. I selected that. Definitely keep this checked, so don't worry about unchecking that. And then click Insert. So you can see it gives you this option right here to move that around. I'm going to get rid of this other frame. We don't need that. So yeah, now it's gone ahead and it's added path points for each of these slides. So didn't have to do any design work in Prezi. I just imported directly from PowerPoint. So even though you can import directly from PowerPoint, it's good to know how to add various types of content. So maybe I wanted to add a YouTube video at the end. Now I know how to do that. I just go to Insert, go to YouTube Video, and paste the link in from YouTube. So that is a overview of Prezi. There are some more advanced features. Prezi has recently allowed users to add background music to Prezis, as well as adding voice to specific slides. So if you've ever narrated a PowerPoint, you record audio for a specific slide. To do that, you would just pick the frame that you want to add the voiceover to, and then you can see right here, add voiceover to path step. And it's not going to bring up a microphone and let you start talking. You're going to have to already record that audio file and then just upload the MP3 file, and it will attach itself to the slide. But that is pretty much everything. If you have any questions, the educational technology team is available to help you. So if you need help troubleshooting a Prezi, you can email edtech@wilmu.edu and just explain your issue. You can include a link to the Prezi if you want us to check out what you already have and you've been working on, but we can get back to you and help you out. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy using Prezi.